Trends. I hate them. And why? Some of you probably wonder. I don't know. I mean, I know, but I like describing things which I know using this way. But the reason why I don't really like trends, it's because for me, it is not the way of expressing yourself and what your interest or even your personality is, but rather a way of trying pleasing out the crowd of the people and showing how cool you are. Like,
Yo, how do you do, fellow kids? I am listening to this super hip-hop heavy rap metal band, Bimberlistic.
Huh?
And they call themselves New Metal, New, NW, fuck, NUW, New. I'm so smart and cool.
at least this is how I perceive this whole overhypedness. Or maybe I am wrong and I am just simply nonconformist who try to not imitate everything around society. Or not.
Of course not. It's autism.
Or maybe autism, which explains why this intro is so unnecessarily long. But what I wanted to say by all of this is that when a very hot thing gets overwhelming amount of popularity, I always prefer to give more attention to less known works. And that's what I'm getting into. So, hello there, I am Nick, and welcome you to Top 10 Underrated Video Games. But before we start, I prepared a set of rules to make this video, well, better organized. And the list of rules is over here. And I will not gonna read that because I don't want to make longer the already long intro. So if you wanna be aware of my rules, then stop the video and read it. And that's all. So let's start it now. I like Flash games. Flash games are a big part of my childhood, and probably yours as well, because in the time when the free-to-play model in the traditional video games was not yet certain, browser games allows to people experiencing games without spending any money, and some of these games I just adore to this day. Whoa, but Nick, don't you tell that you don't include browser games on this list? And that's right, I'm just making an introduction to this game.
Again?
Because you see, some people who worked previously on Flash games, they transferred their experience to creating more mainstream works. And one of these examples is the behemoth, let's say games, a private company who actually consists of the most important people on the Newgrounds site. And they are known for such works like Alien Hemorrhoid, Clusterfuckers, and Battle Block Theater.
Oh, hello, it's me, Crush. And I was not expecting that I am one of the playable characters in Battle Block Theater. How do I get back to my universe? Oh no, I'm stuck. Help, I'm stuck here.
But one of their games was overlooked. And this game is Pit People. In Pit People, we play as a Horatio, a simple blueberry farmer.
The most boring creature on the face of this planet.
Unfortunately, the chaos unfolded on the world, bringing Hex's floor on the earth, various monsters, and series of misfortunes. And disaster also fall on our main hero, because not enough Horatio was attacked by some heavy armored hobos, his son also got murdered. In addition by main narrator. Horatio gets pissed off and he promised to take revenge on the storyteller, not only for his catastrophe, but also others who have been harmed. But what's the gameplay of this game? Well, Pit People is a simple turn-based strategy game, when our goal is usually to eliminate the enemy team. However, the battles are quite unusual for this type of game, because the only thing we can control is movement of our army. Other activities, usually attacking, they perform independently. In addition, at the same time, which more dynamic approach of turn-based strategy might be attractive to new people. And actually, the game is intended for players who don't usually play turn-based strategies or even don't like them, teaching us step by step how everything works, and doing it quite well, despite the fact the game itself is, as you probably see, very chaotic. Okay, maybe not very chaotic, but the game itself tells you that you met with the total nonsense. But I wouldn't say it is a bad thing. In fact, it is fun to see the border which we done on the battlefield, and even that some characters are aware that something is not right in this world. But I feel that some people may not like such approach, not only of total randomness, but ironically even the gameplay itself. Many who played Pit People often complain about simplicity of mechanics, but also that the game becomes quite repetitive, mostly by the fuck up amount of side quests and items to collect. And overall, I agree with that statement. Even if you don't planning to complete the game on 100%, you will be on some point overwhelmed and sometimes tired doing the same thing. Although at the same time, I don't know if this is a good argument, because in my opinion Behemoth games are quite routine and at some point I just need to take a break. But overall, I had fun playing this title, and considering that many people don't know about this game, I decided to put it. But let's move on from the good game to the great game.
Oh, I have an idea.
Stop that!
Orcs Must Die. This game is one of the most creative works I have ever played. Ironically, without putting any innovations in the process. That's because the game is a simple combination of the shooter and the tower defense game. And this simple idea gives a fantastic and varied gameplay. At its core, Orcs Must Die revolves about defending rifts, a magic gateway between humans and dead world, attracting the horde of bloodthirsty creatures, including orcs of course, who want to get on the other side of the land. Our goal is not to let them happen. So to do that, we buy various traps which serves as a form of defense from the enemies. But the problem is that the traps are not fully sufficient, because after they activate, they need a time to reload before they can attack again. And that's the good thing, because where the traps doesn't work, we can show our battle skills and massacre the green smurfs. You have no chance! And it's worth doing it, because for effective killing orcs, we gain currency needed for our traps. And the more traps, then better, because in the next waves, there are more enemies and often new strong hostile units to beat up. And such state of things often has to be creatively solved, often in missions where enemies attacks from different sides, giving in result a fantastic tactical game, which with addition to action gives even more dynamic approach to strategy, but also engage in creative thinking, ironically being at the same time very goofy and I just love it. Orcs say hilarious stuff in silly way. The story is so serious that ridiculous. The main hero, this guy, is one of the funniest protagonists in gaming ever, shooting fantastic sentences,
This is gonna hurt me more than it hurts you. No, wait, other way around.
being extremely overconfident and throwing away the word dangerous,
It's a dangerous region. stranded kittens. They're just so cute. Funny.
And don't give a fuck about anyone and anything, caring only about killing the orcs. Which, thanks to that, he was the only one who survived in his order, despite the fact he was the worst one. Although, I shouldn't be surprised. After all, he have the best Fortnite dance in the game. So yeah, I love this game. Despite the fact that there are some outdated functions, like not always working lava or acid, or unchangeable controls, but the game is so enjoyable that I can forgive their flaws. And if you're really interested in Orcs Must Die but you don't really know it is worth it, then don't worry. On the Steam is available free demo, which will help you with making a decision, and definitely help me, and I am happy of purchasing this game. And if you decided to buy Orcs Must Die, then I have nothing else to say that I wish you a lot of fun in
Destroy the orcs.
In my previous entries, the story was mostly pretextual to keep playing the game. So to kinda change the format, now let's talk about game who is more narrative driven. Road 96. Created by Digix Art. Or Digix A. Because it's French. So in the Road 96, we play as a teenager, staying at the fictional country Petria. The condition of this nation is ruled by President Tyrak, who has a very totalitarian approach to his citizens, to the such point that he is able to give very harsh punishments even to teenagers for not supporting his actions. And given the fact that we are taking the role of the juvenile, we don't intend to be a part of tyrannic regime of, Tyrak. What are you expecting? And we try to do impossible and escape from Petria, crossing to the other side of the border, where to such possibility allows us the Road 96. So the title of this game now makes sense. The game itself is very interesting, in fact I will say very original, especially that is unusual combination of roguelite and let's say adventure game. And yes, roguelite, not roguelike, because in roguelike you lost all obtained stuff after death, where in roguelite, after death you have all access to previously acquired abilities and equipments, which are basically all games that are called roguelike. Bruh. But anyway, our goal in this game is mentioned by me earlier, escape from corrupted country. But by taking such task alone, it is not easy. For instance, not having too much cash, we must manage our money well, and also to find food and take naps, to recharge our energy. But we not only must take care of ourselves, but also watch out for everything and everyone. The police is patrolling the whole country, and if they consider us for wanted, then they take us to the prison, and we are basically enslaved, but also a lot of danger around us. And we can die actually in any possible moment. But even if we achieve a tragic end, this is not the end of the journey, because then it's another teenager's turn. And yes, I kinda lied to you, because we don't play just one teenager, but several teenagers who are experiencing different paths. And by playing other teenagers, we might be not only be able to get out of Petria, but also better met important for the story characters, which not only they give exposure about game's world, but also about themselves, and what led them to be what they are. And having with them very often interesting decisions that affect their behavior, and in the results plot in the game. It's just Road 96 is an exceptional game. It is kinda like Disco Elysium. Okay, maybe not, because Disco Elysium is a Disco Elysium and is unbeatable, especially that the main character is a hobo, so win absolute. But by this comparison I mean that this game is not just the game, but also the art, having very pleasant for eye graphics, but also what it's saying, because the game is not afraid to talk about serious topics, and even though a lot of things is exaggerated, it doesn't trivialize them or does not pretend that such things do not exist. I don't know what to say more, the game is just for me masterpiece. And if you like narrative driven games with good characters and also which thought provoke, then you probably wouldn't be disappointed. But fuck that, let's shoot some stupid people. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bulletstorm, created by Polish studio. People Can Fly, which you may recognize them with their Painkiller series. But I haven't had the chance to experience these titles yet. At least we're talking about Painkiller from the Judas Priest, because if you like metal and you somehow haven't listened to this album yet, then you have a goddamn homework to do. Painkiller, the most heavy metal album that heavy metal itself, 11 out of 10. Or 11 out of high. Fuck off. But anyway, in Bulletstorm we play as a Grayson Hunt, who quit from being a soldier, after finding out that his general became the main villain, and ordered Grayson and his squad to kill innocent people and do some illegal stuff. Not surprising, after all, he is the most fucked up character in this game.
You namby-pamby cocksucks!
So our main hero, after hearing that he was lied the whole time, he promised to kill Serenum, for self-redemption for all victims. So much for the plot. Bulletstorm is a first-person shooter, and as in every type of this game, we shoot to people and usually in head, to insta-kill.
Nice cock.
Or not, because Bulletstorm is very unconventional in their approach to shooting, having the mechanics of skill shots. Basically a challenge system rewarding us for killing enemies in the most creative way possible, kicking them from the high areas, warping the enemy in explosive and killing him before he explodes, or shooting with the sniper rifle in the ass of the aggressor and blowing their buttocks in the group of enemies. but as you see, combinations are multiple. In fact, over 100 ways to eliminate bloodthirsty, unhinged enemy units. In fact, we can play Bulletstorm like typical authentic post-war series Call of Duty knockoff shooter, but it is not optimal way to play it, because then the game becomes way more boring, easier and even punishing us, getting in the result pathetic amount of points. Points which are the literally currency to use to buy ammunition and our magazine size to our weaponry. And the best way to get more points is while doing the skill shots, especially that the game really encourages us to do it. Not only by our arsenal, who also have alternative way to shoot, but also by environment, which we can use to our advantage. All of this to distance themselves from the FPS cliché. And actually, that was the intention of Bulletstorm, making a game that stands out and makes fun from other shooters whose approach is way too realistic. And even Bulletstorm itself is not afraid to show it.
Yeah? Go fuck yourself! You shitpiles give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What? What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my dick? I'll kill your dick! How about that, huh?
And by this absurd seriousness, this title created a really entertaining B-movie action film, to the such point that the game changed into unofficial Duke Nukem game. And actually, in the Bulletstorm Red Edition, the gaming version of Johnny Bravo was added as a playable character.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
The game does have some strange ideas, such as the fact you can only have 3 weapons at once and there's no ability to jump. Yes. And also that even if you play Duke Nukem, people still call you Grayson. Although on the other hand, it is actually kind of funny to see that. But this title is really great. and for fun of absurd sense of humor, which is the best one by the way, it is highly recommended to try it. Number 6. Rated F for Fuck It. This is Sunset Overdrive, created by Insomniac Games, probably very well known to you developer from exclusive PlayStation games. But this work was originally made as a title on the Xbox One, which is Xbox free, and that's probably why this game flopped, being sold on the console, which was, well, flop itself. Which is kind of funny for me, because I remember that this title was actually very highly promoted, at least on the Flash game sites which I played. And I actually was curious of this title, so I watched some Let's Play on YouTube, and I was thinking that this game looked fun as a kid. Then I went back to play Papa's games.
I'll have 2 number 9.
But thanks that I was interested, and maybe that I discovered it on the browser game sites, made me want to try this title, especially that this game came out on PC in 2018. So I bought it, I played it, and I was wrong as a kid. This title wasn't fun. It was fun-fucking-tastic. In Sunset Overdrive we play as a player. Yes, we don't play some particular fictional person, we play fully playable character made by us.
Hey, who's this? Our new partner.
Or fully made by a gamer, like myself. Yes, I am a gamer and... Oh wait, I am a gamer. Oh... Anyway, our created character lives in the Sunset City, the metropolis full of unusual places and consumer products. And one of these products is energy drink Overcharge, which basically from the beginning of its release became known for its unusual properties. And these properties is changing people into brainless mutants. But Fisco, the company responsible for adding Cancer-19 into their drinks, have no problems cutting off the city from the rest of the world, because they have basically controlled the most of the aspects of life. Yes, we're talking about such level of corporatism. Considering that our main character is not just a stiff canvas servicing as an avatar role, but stubborn non-conformist, they decide to run out from the city. Especially that he or she, depending on choice in character creator, is capable of parkour-like abilities, allowing us to move way mobile and quickly. And actually mobility, or should I say grinding, is the main game mechanic. Sliding, bouncing and everything which gives us movement is not only very useful in transportation or combat with spread group of enemies, but is also damn pleasant to the such point that I didn't even want to use fast travel mode, which is quite unusual for open world game, which Sunset Overdrive is.
Okay, I'm here. Do I synchronize now or what? Oh, wrong game.
Oh, hi, it's me. I escape, and I stuck again.
However, also our parkour is rewarded by fueling style meter, which expanding our attack possibilities, and that thanks to various amps and overdrives. Basically power-ups which we can equip to make bigger chaos. And the options are multiple. In fact, I will say even too much, especially in overdrive sections, where if I counting good, there's over factillions options to put in and I just didn't want to play it with this mess. But on the other hand, they allow for a lot of super effects on our movement or guns. And speaking of guns, they are not typical murder weapons, but MacGyveristic tools full of explosive teddy bears, homing fireworks, and penis shotguns, perfectly suitable for killing crazy horde of mutants, deadly machines, and self-harming for society people.
It's Over 9,000!
And as you may see, the game is surrounded by absurd background full of exaggerated situations and characters to the such point that the player themselves, the protagonist, not the gamer, is shocked how everything is overshown. The game even shows middle finger to contemporary graphics. Instead of focusing whether the nipples are realistically exposed on the woman's chest with 1:1 accuracy, the game focuses on saturated, condensed colors with addition to comic book design, which for me, it makes look more like an artistic piece of art rather than a craftsman's work, or to be precise, a stubborn artistic piece of art full of fantastic packaged music. Sunset Overdrive is something special, the game that isn't afraid to say that it's a game, and if you are like me, a person who appreciates unconventional approach to the given norms, then the game is absolutely masterpiece. And if you give this title a chance, then I think you will not regret it. The 2000s. An era where it was very fashionable to engage in some kind of serious dark content, or as we would say today, edgy or even emo, in some criteria. And this was noticeable not only in the products which people consume, but also on various internet sites, including on early YouTube. And although this procedure is quite nostalgic, including kinda for myself, I have impression that at the same time that it was also hurtful for some works, especially if they were, let's say, not focusing to look mature in some way. And one of these victims was Psychonauts. A platformer game created by Double Fine Productions, which the creative director for this game was Tim Schafer. And that name should say a lot, because Tim created or take part in creation of such games like Monkey Island, Day of the Tentacles, Full Throttle, Grim Fandango, and also Brutal Legend, which for me and my brother is, well, heavy metal wealth. If you ever played a game where Tim took an active part in, then you know that this guy is gifted with unusual imagination, which gave crazy adventures. And Psychonauts is no different from his works. So in Psychonauts we play as a Rasputin, or Ras because Putin is not so much welcome these days. Raz wants to become a Psychonaut, a special agent able to use psychic abilities. So Raz decides to run away from home, where practicing such techniques is forbidden, and breaks into a camp for new generation of psychic users.
You've broken into a highly classified remote government training facility.
I know, isn't it great?
But the longer Raz stays at the camp, then it gets weirder, becoming a witness in mystery involving the literally brain theft. Raz, being aware that something is not right, decides to find out what is going on and who is behind it. The plot with the time becomes more crazier, and we with fascination just want to push story forward. So allow me to stop talking about story here. So, as I said before, Psychonauts is a platformer. And Raz, like in every typical jumping game, run, punch, jump, and over time he learns new psychic skills, which are integral to platforming, combat, and puzzle solving. I saw complaints that the gameplay aged quite a bit, and that the mechanics are quite clunky. But honestly, I didn't have that many problems that others. Combat, although simple, I don't really mind it, and I definitely had more enjoyment playing this title as a game than others. However, even I can agree that the gameplay itself is not the main fun factor. The whole fun begins where we enter into other people's minds. As you see, Psychonauts is not just down-to-earth adventure, but also deep dive of psychic individuals. And yes, this whole psychic stuff is not only referred to superpowers which our protagonists use, but to human mind as well. To the such extent that our collectibles are in fact figments of imagination, fueling the environment created by the person. We also come across on literally emotional baggages who they struggles over the pain from the past, completely lost where they should went. But the memory vaults may show the causes of person's instability. And these minds are not typical platform sections, but often separate stages with their own rules and specific goals. So to push the plot forward, we have to do such the things like win in the board game with the Napoleon, destroy everything on the road playing as a kaiju, or solving a mystery involving Milkman conspiracy.
Not another tracking device!
The level who itself is so godly that any arguments why this game is bad are debunked by pure power of imagination of this stage.
It's perfect, isn't it?
Which breaks absolutely gravity, gives us ability to see from other people's eyes, and after all, how can you deny the level about goddamn Milkman?
His milk is delicious. Everybody wants it. He'll be here soon. Then the lies will end.
So, in conclusion, Psychonauts is really different game, focused more on the content rather on the gameplay, but surprisingly it really works for advantage of this title, filled with a lot original ideas which never been seen before, and for that, this game really deserves way more attention that it got.
I see. Well, do you guys know where the milkman is?
Why do you ask that question? Are you the milkman?
But Psychonauts was not the only title that failed because it did not meet with modern expectations. Another of these titles is Beyond Good and Evil, created by Ubisoft. Yes, that Ubisoft, which today this company have very negative reception, becoming even worse than EA, at least if you ask me. What is a shame, because Ubisoft back in the day wasn't afraid to experiment and publish some unusual titles, and Beyond Good and Evil is one of these games. So, in the Beyond Good and Evil, we play as a Jade, who living on the planet Helios, where the war is fought between attacking aliens called Domes and Alpha Section, who defend Helios against them. Or at least that's how media presents so, because Jade with his uncle Paige, yes, he's a furry. What? Would you like me to call him a pig? They join to the resistance movement, in which they look for truth. And it turns out that his story is slightly different than what is presented to us at the beginning.
Hi there, would you like to sign my petition?
And the story between good and evil in compared to other titles is actually one of the main parts of the game in general, and it really encourages us to continue playing the game. And speaking of the game itself, the gameplay in Beyond Good and Evil is quite hard to classify to what genre it belongs. The easiest way to define this title is actually an adventure game like Zelda, Okami or Brutal Legend. With fighting, stealthing, racing, exploring, interacting, and Pokemon snapping. And all of these activities are pleasantly made. Maybe Beyond Good and Evil is not master of any of this category, but simplicity and amount of stuff to do in this title have positive effect on gameplay and makes the game more varied. And actually word varied describes this title perfectly. Beyond World is filled in surprisingly amount of unconventional ideas, creating one of the most original worlds which I had ever the pleasure to explore, like the planet Helios where the adventure takes place, because this planet is mainly covered by water and having limited numbers of inhabited islands. However, despite that, Helios is surrounded by multiple unique civilians which resident this world, besides humans of course, and these are not typical aliens from science fiction, but something like animal sapiens beings. Or maybe furries if you are kidding like me. But considering that even Wikifur also consider these tractors as a furries, then maybe I am not wrong. But to be fair, even in this category, they feel more subdued and fit naturally into their environment than more exaggerated creatures. After all, in which game you can find Jamaican Pill Workshop run by Rastafarians rhinoceros? And nobody will tell me that this idea is stupid, because this is so stupid that genius. And everything is surrounded by fantastic music, which is S-tier material, and I don't kidding. Definitely the best game with the audio on this list. Music in this title is not only like the game, I mean varied, but it is so well made and perfectly put together that immerse you even more. Just I love it. Beyond Good and Evil is amazing game. But I will say even more, it is actually a masterpiece, that it is not afraid to change the routine and experiment with new ideas, sometimes even to unusual level. Which maybe also that's another reason why this title didn't sell very well. Because Ubisoft decided that Beyond Good and Evil 2 will be some kind of MMO with realistic graphics and for mass audience. And I don't really want to talk about this sequel, or rather prequel, too long, but it really seems that even they throw away what Beyond Good and Evil wanted to be, and given the fact that creator Michel Ancel, yes, the same guy responsible for Rayman, was fired or ran away from Ubisoft for his behavior, I really expect another Skull and Bones. In other words, the next tragedy. Or maybe this series is doomed to tragedy. Because in the game, I don't know what I will tell you, I just see for yourselves. Action speaks louder than the words.
Keep doing nothing, and next time there'll be nothing left here to say.
Sign my petition, damn it.
To be completely honest, I'm shocked that the Talos Principle is very little known. Okay, maybe not very little, but way little that I expected. Especially that I personally came across to a lot of sources that praise this game. But it seems that positive outcome and my positive experience with this title just created the bubble which I was convinced that everybody knows that. So allow me to present the Talos Principle, the game which I mentioned a moment ago, created by Croatian developer Croteam, who are the best known for Serious Sam series. Very combative shooters, which we massacring a series of absurd enemies. So it is easy to deduce what we will going to do in the Talos Principle. We will going to massacre a series of absurd logic puzzles. Never mind. Let's start from the beginning. In the Talos Principle, we take a role of just woken up android. When our robot wakes up, we are literally greeted with the voice from the heaven. And he introduced himself as a Crush Elohim.
Oh.
Elohim states that he is a god and promise us paradise if we will able to solve all challenges prepared by him. And that's basic plot foundations. As I said before, Talos Principle is a puzzle game The puzzles primarily revolve about using varied tools, such as jammers, connectors, and even recording devices, to reach to the end of the labyrinth and take the seagull. Basically Tetris-like shape that in this title are keys to open the new worlds which we will travel, and unlocking new tools for incoming complex levels. Puzzles are really great done. These are not only well designed, using everything what we received, but also in my opinion they are very good balanced, divided into green, easy, yellow, medium, and red, hard, helping us step by step to get ready and adapt to game's mechanics. I hear that sometimes colors don't match to the difficulty well, but I hadn't had such complaints. But the puzzles are only half of the worthy things in this title. Another of these things, or even more, is the game narrative. These are not only filing the overall plot, but also serves as a varied philosophical questions like what is a consciousness? What is a free will? What does it mean to be a human? Maybe this question seems to be simple, but honestly, considering the circumstances and even that the game itself points out the inconsistencies in your answers, it makes all these definitions way more complex than on the first glance. Especially how these questions apply to our character. After all, we play as an android, not a human. And whether in general the robot can be a person if it has the same level of consciousness. But I will leave to explore this question to yourself, especially since there are many of them, and not only that. The Talos Principle is kinda something more than just a video game. To be fair, very pleasant video game, which I have a lot of fun, but it explores so many questions that it is just impressive. Whether you are a fan of puzzle games or someone who enjoys exploring philosophical questions, I really recommend it to trying out this game, because it is something more than just a masterpiece, honestly. Yes! Finally! I'm sorry for my excitement, but I am so happy, because at last we're talking about this game. Or I shouldn't, because how this title was treated is absolutely offensive. Because the main publisher, EA, decided to release this title after Battlefield 1 and their competition Call of Duty Infinite. And considering that these games were sold in the closed days and were expensive as fuck, most players could only afford one of them to buy, or maybe even two, but even then, they were willing to choose this popular one. And Titanfall 2, by Respawn Entertainment, was not of these games and was absolutely ignored. So let me introduce you to this title, and why it's damn cool. Titanfall 2, based on games that I mentioned, is a first-person shooter. In the campaign we play as a Jack Cooper, fighting for resistant movement against IMC, illegally overviews extract valuable resources from vast regions called the Frontiers. But Jack, besides fighting against the evil corporation, and thus literally, he also wants to become a pilot, a highly skillful soldier, capable to dominate the battlefield in outside-the-box way. And there is an opportunity to become a pilot, because Jack's teacher, Ty Lastimosa, dies. So we take off his equipment needed for every pilot, and we finally can say the word, yeah! Playing as a pilot in compared to other shooters is completely different. Titanfall 2 focuses on parkour-like movement, full of running on walls, sliding, climbing, flanking, and double jumping, making the game much more dynamic and being surprisingly a breath of fresh air to the shooting mechanic. We also are equipped in special ability which makes our pilot only more unpredictable. But wait, why the pilot? Don't you think this is kinda a weird name for the super soldier? Why not Spartan, Commandos, or both? The pilot is somebody who operates the controls in the moving machine, usually this flying one, but still. Well, that's simple, because you can also pilot a machine. These big, juicy robots are called Titans. And let me fucking tell you that they absolutely rocks. Titans on the battlefield are truly the beast. Thanks to massive endurance and equipped in huge guns in multiple with varied skills, are easily able to squash people. But the real fun begins where there starts the true battle between Titans. They are demanding, engaging, and very meaty, or maybe very mechanic. Easily being the best part of Titanfall 2, if not the main core. Because I will say that the main core is him, BT-7274. BT, who after death of his previous owner, Lastimosa, become assigned to us to provide protection from enemy forces. But besides being a killing machine, he also quickly becomes our friend, not only giving us safety and information what is going on or what we're supposed to do, but also surprisingly interesting dialogues which makes him even more likable.
Pilot, exercise caution.
You can say that again.
Pilot, exercise caution.
And honestly, relationship between BT and the player is fantastically made. In fact, it is so well made that you generally care about this Titan to nothing serious happened to him. Especially that it feels that he is a full-fledged character and not some, ironically, AI machine. I will lie, it is the best game focusing on characters, especially that in the campaign there are a lot of characters that haven't been given much attention, despite that they are very important. And to be fair, the previous games which I mentioned before were better in this category and I just done pretty poor job of it. But this deserves a highlight because BT, without kidding, he's one of my favorite characters. He is just so well written. Even if all of this was supposed to be an addition to multiplayer mode. And speaking of multiplayer, let's talk about it. Because it is also quite important part of this game. And I had a pleasure to play on it, and I will not sugarcoat it. It is fucking awesome. Although the entry threshold is quite high for beginners, and I remember exactly that I had been a huge loser and basically guaranteed of your defeat. But those like me won't give up and will overcome their difficulties. They will experience a unique and dynamic wealth, which is completely different from competitive shooters. Or even like me, being so good that you land on the top 3 during the games. As you see, I really love this game. But even my brother who played this game with me said that this game was awesome. Which really hurts me how this title was treated, and even that this game is not on my first place on this list because it truly deserves a recognition. However, there is one more title that is absolutely masterpiece that deserves way more than Titanfall 2, but it was absolutely overlooked. But still, in my opinion, Titanfall 2 is absolutely must-play title. Trust? No. I will not say that. BT, you will.
Trust me.
So that was a throw. But anyway, let's move on to number 1.
Hello there, it's me, Crush. Today is March 15. Happy birthday, hero. And Morgan, you wake up. You are number 1.
Finally. Yes, I know, I said it earlier. This is Prey 2017, created by French developer Arcane Studio, the best known from Dishonored series. But honestly, do you have ever heard about Prey before? Because I did it actually. In fact, the first time about this game I heard it in August 2020, over 3 years from the premiere. I literally haven't seen any trailers, gameplay or anything. Okay, I admit that I could miss it because I'm not super engaged into gaming direct events such, I don't know, Nintendo Direct or former E3, something like that. But from that what I know, the marketing was very minimum, and that's in the best. So how I supposed to know about this title before? Anyway, maybe let's move on to the game itself, because I probably wouldn't stop talking about my disbelief. So, in The Prey we play as a Morgan Yu, by Broken Yu, without O, who got the new job on the space station specializing in various researches. And this station is called Talos 1, which we received this work thanks to our brother.
Hi, my name is Gabe Newell.
But to fully get this work, we have to do some tests. Skill exercises, trolley problem, and even Rorschach test. And after we do this... What the hell is going on? At least it's true now that it was a dream evil. Dream evil, I mean bad dream. Too much deal for me. But it seems that... Okay, I withdraw from that what I said before. This is definitely a nightmare. The game quickly changed into a series of plot twists. We discovered that we were on the Talos 1 from the whole time, and this station has been overtaken by alien creatures known as a Typhon. The mysterious species which can easily change their shape, and a lot of them are capable in varied abilities, like teleportation, telekinesis or even element manipulation. But they are extremely hostile and will instantly attack any other form of organic life, like humans. So of course we are left with the cosmic threat mostly by ourselves. I say mostly because on the Talos 1 there are quite a few individuals who survived the cosmic invasion, and one of these people is January, who is willing to help us. Or not. I mean, not willing to help us because he is, but he's not a human. January in fact is a reprogrammed by us robot, who is backup to our plans, orders and memories. But why we don't remember any of this? And what caused of this Typhon attack? And how to stop it in the first place? Well, that will be depend on your approach. And that's literally. Because you see, Prey, as a game, can be defined in really different ways. RPG, survival horror, stealth game, even Metroidvania. But the best description of this title is immersive sim. What is that? Well, immersive sims are kinda like open world games. Or not really, because they are not allowing to getting into every possible place in the game, like Grand Theft Auto, The Elder Scrolls or Brutal Legend. But their freedom is displayed in completely other category. And this is a choice from various methods and playstyles. For example, let's say we have a door. The door is locked, and you want to go through this door, because on the other side there's an item to push story forward. So we can explore the area to find the key to open the door. But we don't have to. If we have enough skill points, we can lockpick a door and unlock them, or even destroying them if there's such possibility. Or completely ignore the door and find the other path which allows us to get to other area. In other words, everything which we can do is possible. There is just one requirement: improvise.
Improvisation has always been your strength. You'd be dead if it wasn't.
The game quickly encourages you to be creative. Without doing that, we will quickly stack on our journey. by the complexity of the locations or the overwhelmed by the Typhon abilities. And yes, fight also required unconventional approach, because playing it like typical shooter will quickly end with our death. I hear that many people criticize combat in this game, that it is unsatisfying and simply not fun compared to other shooters, but honestly I really think that it is made for a purpose. Not only show us what dangerous species we are dealing with, but also to try to experiment to defeat them, finding new ways and even outsmart them. After all, this is an immersive sim, and the best way to play it, as we said it before, to improvise. And this is probably another reason why this game flopped. After all, we people prefer rather straightforward approach, and if the game requires something which needs a bit more time to do, there's a big chance that a person simply will put a given work aside. And to be completely honest, I was one of these individuals in the times where I was not such an epic gamer. I totally didn't really know what I supposed to do, and I just stopped. Twice in fact. But I was not willing to give up, and on my third attempt, I convinced myself to this title, and I don't regret it, because it encouraged me to play more diverse type of games. And I really encourage you to try this title yourself, because Prey 2017 is an experience one of a kind. I think you will not regret it. Hey, if you have made it to this point in the video, I would like to thank you very much for watching, despite the fact it took much longer than I intended, and still I didn't put everything what I planned. But still, if you enjoy my work, I would be happy to see some kind of support of my video, of form giving me the like or a comment, which this second one especially, because I would like to see what are you thinking about this video. And also share your favorite titles which deserves more recognition, because who knows, maybe I will across something really interesting from your suggestions. But until now, goodbye and see you tomorrow.